Okay, so we're going to continue with Tomer Devorah. We're on day 12. So of, let's see, this is chapter 2. So chapter 2, day 12. And we are on the fifth attribute for a person to emulate his creator. So this is the fifth attribute of Keter that one must possess of the several main functions. Okay, so the fifth is one's eyes should not gaze at all at anything despicable. That might be very hard in today's world, but it's possible. You know, if you wear glasses, take your glasses off, you know, when you're around something that you don't want to see. You know, there's a playlist that we actually went through of Rabbi Victor Miller on guarding your eyes. So, but continuing, rather, they should always be open to watch over unfortunates and have as much mercy on them as possible. So when he sees the suffering of the poor, he should not close his eyes at all. Rather, he should give as much thought to their predicament as possible, arousing the mercy of both heaven and man upon them. He should distance himself from noticing evil, just like the supernal eye, which is open and forever sees only good. So I want to mention, so whenever he talks about the unfortunates, the poor people, whatever, and have mercy upon them, don't think that, it's not just monetary. So when we talk about being, so in Orachot Tzadikim, we have one of the gates that we covered in a video, and there's a playlist for that as well. The gate of magnanimity. There are certain facets you can be magnanimous in your wisdom, your wealth, and with your body, to help people, you know, like getting something done or being magnanimous with your wisdom, teaching somebody. So these are all things that if you could see someone who's unfortunate or poor, it's not just monetary poverty. It could be intellectual poverty. It could be, you know, there's different aspects of that. So do not close your eyes at all. Rather, he should give as much thought to their predicament as possible. So the other thing is, like, if you can't financially help someone or help someone in the way that they need, like, let's say somebody needs help physically, but you are sick, you're weak yourself, or something like that, or you're just not capable of doing it, whether, you know, there could be a bunch of different reasons, but let's just say, you know, the biblical example of your neighbor's or your neighbor's animal is stuck in a ditch or something, is fallen down with its load, and you might not be able physically to provide assistance because of an injury or whatever. You're just not strong enough to help him get the job done. You know, encouraging other people to do that job, to help in that mitzvah, also is very important. The other thing, like, you know, you hear if someone asks for something and you can't provide it to them, obviously because you don't have it, you know, you could say Tehillim for them. You could pray for them. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Like I say, you can encourage other people to help them out. So continuing, it's not that you're just limited to helping out financially poor people, but there's different types of poverty in life. Could be poverty of their health, you know, different things like that. So continuing, the sixth, regarding the nose, a breath of wrath should never be found in it. Rather, it should constantly contain the breath of life, goodwill, and patience, even toward those who are unworthy. One should always want to fulfill the desire of others, to satisfy every request, and to revive the broken-spirited. He should always breathe forth from his nose forgiveness of iniquity and pardon of transgression. He should not be angry with those who offend him. Rather, he should constantly be willing to be appeased, and he should be desirous of kindness, pleasing everyone. So anger is a very base trait. It's something you want to stay as far away from as possible. When you become angry, any sort of like divine level that you've achieved, that you feel connected with Hashem or something like that, it can distance you like immediately. It's almost like being thrown out of the king's chamber. right? So you want to be very cautious with how you react to things. And the nose is directly connected with the idea of anger, okay? And sometimes it's just breathing exercises can help. There are Jewish breathing exercises. There are different things, like if you think about your breath, there's a certain amount of time that you breathe in, there's a certain amount of time that you hold it, and there's a certain amount of time that you breathe out. So you can do specific counts of how long you breathe in, hold, and breathe out that are related to certain numeric values of God's names and things like that. There are also exercises that rabbis have taught on the matter. If anybody's interested in that, I might be able to go more into depth about it. But they're controlling your breathing can very much control your reaction to something that upsets you. And ultimately, it would be great to get to the level where something doesn't even upset you. That's ideal. But most of us are not at that level, and the best that we can do is contain our outward reaction to it, and just like it might unsettle us inside, but we have to like let it go. But ideally, you want to get to a point where it just doesn't even bother you, like internally. So the seventh, one's face should always shine. He should receive all people with a cheerful countenance. For regarding the supernal keter, it says, excuse me, in the light of the king's countenance is life. Mishle, that's Proverbs 16:15. And just as no flush of anger or strict judgment enters there at all, so too the light of his countenance should be unchanging. And all who look into his face should find nothing but joy and cheerfulness. No factor should distract him from this at all. The eighth, one's mouth should express nothing but good. In the content of his words should be Torah and constant expression of goodwill. No despicable words, curses, rage, anger, or frivolous talk should escape his mouth. Rather, it should resemble the supernal mouth, which is never sealed and never refrains from speaking good at all times. Therefore, one must not silence himself from speaking well of everyone, expressing good words and blessings constantly. These then are 8 good qualities, all of which come under the banner of humility. They all correspond above to the supernal limbs of Keter. Thus, when a person desires to draw near to the supernal worlds and emulate him, in order to open his sources to those below, he must be fully perfected in that which was discussed in these 2 chapters. So that is the end of day 12.